Exploding shirts this week. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I'm in art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe and to leave your feedback in the comments. I post art daily, 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of some of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the Cave Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and my one-shot comic called Searchers is now available at burningstarcomics.net. Visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. There's a growing gallery of art and comics to see and enjoy. All these links are in my description and bio, so please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. I've mentioned these sketches that I do before, but this is the first time I think I've really shown them. When I'm drawing my Una the Cave Bunny comics, over time I start slimming her down and making her kind of barrel-shaped. You know, her shoulders are wide, and then her rib cage is wide, and her hips are slim. I don't want that to happen. What I'm doing over time when I'm drawing a comic is one of the things is that I'm trying to save space or fit everything within a panel or a page. So what I subconsciously do is start trimming down the character. So you see in these sketches what I'm doing is I'm drawing her with like super exaggerated wide hips, a very small rib cage, and a lot bigger hair with a lot more kind of flowing going on. It's really kind of a big problem because I feel like I should always draw her this way. But at the same time, I want her to have a certain character. So I want her eyes to be big so you can read a lot of her expressions in there. And I don't want to overemphasize her figure. But I go back and forth on that so much because I want to draw the best, most expressive kind of comics that I can. Sometimes what that means, and I think more than sometimes, is I gotta put a lot more exaggeration in there if I want the page to look dynamic, if I want it to look exciting, and if I want it to be graphically appealing. These sketches are what you see going on behind the scenes as I'm figuring out the look for the comics I'm trying to make. This drawing represents part of the process that I've talked about it before, talked about it on this video, of trying to retain a sense of exaggeration when I'm doing my cartooning, as opposed to falling into a bland, kind of low effort approach, which I really is one of my pet peeves. I think comics should have a lot more sort of well designed and attractive and dynamic look to them. So I sketched this out on paper first just to try to loosen up, and I ended up liking it as it was, and I didn't think she looked exactly like my Una the Cave Bunny. So I gave her this vest without buttons and stuff and just kind of hyped the whole thing up a little bit. I realized I might have a million of these little Tinkerbelle sketches I did on paper bags with ballpoint, a little marker color, and some white china crayon. Could be the thing about Tinkerbelle is that Disney's Tinkerbelle was designed for animation. So she's designed literally to be easy to draw and quick. So maybe that explains why, you know, in a way I draw her so much. She's already very well designed with a minimum number of shapes to get, the kind of expression and movement that animators look for. My Tinkerbelle is a good deal thicker than the standard one you see from the model sheets. One thing I learned is that the Tinkerbelle's hair really doesn't work. It's more like a bunch of like broom fibers tied up into a ball on one end, and with the rest just coming over her head. But it works for animation, that's one of the things about animation design, is that a lot of the stuff wouldn't really work in reality, but it works as a handful of shapes that move together and create a character. I've been posting cropped sections of this drawing that I was currently selling on eBay. I think it was the cover of the She-Hulk comic #1, where you see Jennifer Walters standing there in front, and then you see a transformed She-Hulk behind her. And I just kind of took the idea and just made this exploding, massive She-Hulk, who's just like, roped in solid muscle. And I think that was a vast improvement on the original idea. I feel like one of the keys to doing an homage is to do a complete original drawing and just sort of do it so that you're not copying line work or trying to make everything look exactly like the original. You're doing something in your own style that has some real respect for the work that's gone before. You could look at this and say, well, I have no respect at all, but that's simply not true. I'd like to thank you, my subscribers, and especially my new subscribers. I'm very happy you enjoy hearing something more about the work that I'm doing, and I hope the videos are entertaining, and I really hope you can come back for more.